If there's one thing clear, the world is not fair. Not everybody has it. There are haves and have-nots. Who has it? Who doesn't? Especially when it comes down to the bluegrass state. What's cooking? Welcome back into another edition of Now We Can Talk Like Fans on ESPN Louisville Plus. My name is Justin Sofro. Of course, we're talking all things cards, cats, bourbon, and bluegrass. We're going to talk Indiana. I guess I have to talk Indiana now. I'm sorry. Kurt Yeti. He got signed to an extension, 8 years, golly amount of money. I guess Indiana's got him. Congratulations, Hoosiers. You got a football program. I don't know what to tell you. You did it. You won. You win, Indiana. You win. You've got a football program. You've got one of the appears to be one of the best coaches in the nation. He's still scared to play Louisville, but it's fine. You're doing it. You're doing the damn thing. But that's not why we're here today. We're here to talk about a little bit of a money situation. The money situation when it comes to NIL, paying players and making sure they are getting paid. Of course, that comes down to one report by Joe Tipton. I'll go ahead and throw up the graphic up right now. He tweeted out today that Kentucky's NIL payroll for this year's roster is $22 million, according to a report from the Herald-Leader, likely the highest paid roster in all of college basketball. God damn it! What? Why? Why do the Cats have that? Why do you get everything? Why do I have to suffer for multiple seasons? 2 years under Kenny Payton never should have happened. And Kentucky's over here enjoying life. $22 million they get to pay to their players to buy a team. I know you've been buying teams for years, but you did it. You cheated when it was fine or when it wasn't allowed, and you got away with it. And by golly, now you can still pay players and have the best, or not the best, but have one of the most expensive rosters in the nation. Congratulations to BBN. Congratulations to Big Blue Nation. With that comes a lot of pressure, a lot of scrutiny. Your team is getting paid the most money to compete and to play the game of basketball, the game that you love. If I'm a Kentucky fan, obviously I'm above the moon, I guess. I don't know. I'm overjoyed that my team ponied up. That's one thing was clear. They weren't going to pony up for Mark Stoops. They'll never pony up for you, Mark Stoops, but they will pony up for some college basketball. Maybe not for John Calipari either, but they did do it now that Mark Pope, the prodigal son, has returned home to take over the reins of what was once Rick Pitino's program, and now he's got the best roster, or at least the best roster money can buy. We'll see if they end up, they got to get it done. Here's the thing, if you're Kentucky, and here's where I want to sit with it. I want to put the pressure. I would do the James Treble, the Andy Sweeney, the whatever side you want to call it, the Mark Blankenbaker too. He would do the same thing. They're going to put the pressure on you, the onus on Mark Pope, and the onus is on Mark Pope. Say you've got to. It's Final Four or bust. You should win a national title with the roster that they purchased for you. That being said, I also am a realist. I've talked about it multiple times. I understand how difficult it is to win a national title, but that doesn't mean that we don't get to do that during the rivalry thing. We get to be obtuse in the situation. I get to say, if you don't win that, you're a bum. Your coach is a bum. Yada yada yada. But that being said, Kentucky's paying $22 million for their roster, and this has been backed up. I think it's been sourced from the article from the Herald-Leader. Did I read it? No. But I'm sure it's Joe Tipton's reporting, and everybody's been talking about it all day. One of those players that's making a lot of money, and we have to talk about it, and we'll move on from it, but we have to talk about it. It's the news of the day. Is talking about Jaden Quaidens, and of course the article that one C.L. Brown of the Courier-Journal put out. Let me go ahead and put up this article for you now. Here's the article from the Courier-Journal. Kentucky basketball should sit Jaden Quaidens for the entire season so he can get healthy. An article that I would scroll over for you, but I am not subscribed to the Courier-Journal. I am not paying for that currently. I love the excuse is I love the paper. I love having the paper in my hand. I'm a real physical news guy. I would put the paper in front of you, but I just don't, I got to put it on a camera. There's too many things. That being said, we love our guy, CL Brown. And there's one thing that we know is that CL Brown enjoys, at least for all intents and purposes, he enjoys stirring the pot. Stirring the pot with Kentucky fans and Louisville fans alike. Kentucky fans right now talking about Jaden Quains that they should send him. And then, of course, also with Louisville fans and Kentucky fans when it talked about how Kentucky shouldn't play Louisville anymore. That being said, I want to go ahead and throw to the sound of what he had to say. He was on the take with Andy Sweeney Monday through Friday, noon to 3 p.m. every single weekday for the most part. Andy Sweeney, The Take, Nick Valvano producing and co-hosting. And of course, you can listen to them on the podcast center, ESPN Louisville, ESPN 680, 1057, and of course, the ESPN Louisville app. I'll go ahead and play the sound for you so you can hear exactly what CL Brown had to say.
Do you think he will play this season? And I don't know, what went into your opinion that maybe, Quain should be at Kentucky, be in Lexington, but not play and get ready for the NBA draft?
Yeah, I mean, from the sounds of it, he really wants to play. Sometimes I feel like you got to save people from themselves, especially, a 20-year-old who it doesn't have the experience that you have and doesn't see the bigger picture of this. And the bigger picture is he's someone who is an NBA prospect, and I'm not saying he could ruin that or he will ruin that, but he could. I feel like long-term, he could jeopardize his standing in NBA eyes by coming back too early and either not performing well or re-injuring himself. And there have been so many people, primarily football guys, but there have been so many people who've had that injury that I've talked to in the past that always indicate the second year is the better year. The second year is when they feel back to normal. That first year that they play on it, it's not the same. It's not the same with the explosiveness. They don't trust it the same. They're not playing freely the same. I just think about that and worry about that, and especially with the team that Mark Pope has, I don't feel like Jaden Quain is needed. Like, they absolutely have to have him in order to achieve getting to a Final Four or possibly getting banner number 9. So, I mean, he would definitely be a feather in the cap.
Yeah, he would.
But they've got enough guys, I feel like, to be a very formidable team, even if he isn't able to play.
All fair points. I think definitely makes a lot of sense, especially if you're looking at Kentucky's roster, which is loaded, which has more than enough guys, big men, to suffice for majority of the season. I think it really depends in the end, though. Is this a player that's going to take you from Sweet 16, Elite 8 to Final Four championship contender? That's where I argue a little bit against CL Brown of, are you sure? Do we really want to worry about, we're paying him. I mean, Kentucky has paid him. I mean, a lot of people are estimating around $2 million for the player to play at Kentucky. So he's making that money just chilling out, hanging out on the bench, go full Shaden Sharp here. And he's not going to go full Shaden Sharp. I think also one thing I would be remiss if I didn't point out, I couldn't find this anywhere. I looked for it, but James Strebel on the on the round table with Round Daddy, Justin Jeffries joined him, Tanner Brudemesso as well, producing that Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. ESPN 680, 1057 in the ESPN Louisville app. Talked about, I think he made a comment saying that Myron Metcalf of ESPN had reported that it's a bunch of nothing, a bunch of hooey, and that basically expectations are for Jaden Quains to play. Maybe he'll miss some of this season, but he's not going to miss the whole thing. And that's good to hear, especially when you're paying that much money for a player. That's my biggest frustration. I understand that this is professional now. It is, it's the same as, I guess, the NBA Lakers paying LeBron to do nothing. It's the same, for whoever. Just, I can go down a list of players. You don't need to hear the rosters of the NBA. At the same time, if you have a kid who's committed to coming back and playing for your school next year and he wants to re-up and stay healthy, and be good for that next year, I could understand that. The problem is, for everything that I understand, it seems that Jaden Quains would more than likely be wanting to pursue the NBA and to move on to play at that level next year, not at college, though. Now with the, especially looking at the amount of money that the University of Kentucky has, that they would be able to coerce him to stay again. Again, as a fan, and I understand I'm not spending this money. It's not my money coming out of my pockets. Maybe a couple shekels here and there if I were to go to games, not Kentucky. But at the same time, I understand where there'd be frustration in saying, what do you mean you're not going to play? But eventually, expectations are that he would play. We'll see if he's there for the Louisville game. Unfortunately, the Louisville game for both sides, whether Kason Pryor is going to be there for Louisville or whether he'll be there for Kentucky, it's too damn early in the season, and it doesn't need to be played on November 11th. We'll see. If Louisville wins it, then maybe I'll be talking differently. But anyway, I do want to hear your all's opinions as Kentucky fans. Again, understanding that more than likely Jaden Quains will play. He's not going to be a Shaden Sharp this year. But what is your opinion on this? And then also, what are your expectations? I would imagine your expectations are Final Four or bust, especially with what Mark Pope was able to complete last year. I say that and I cringe a little bit, because I don't want to do the thing, and this is a loser mentality thing to say. But let's be honest, it was a friendly draw. It was a friendly road to the Elite Eight for Mark Pope. That's my only thing. That is my only comment there. That's all I'll say. Anyway, just let me know your opinions in the comment section down below. Do you expect him to play? And then also, $22 million. Is it number 9 or bust? I made a joke saying number 9 is not coming, but is it number 9 or bust for this season of Mark Pope in year number 2 as the head coach of the Kentucky Wildcats? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, do me a solid favor. Smash the freaking like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. You can follow me at Justin Silvero on Twitter. And of course, you can follow ESPN 680, 93.9 The Ville on all the other different platforms we have, Instagram, Facebook, all that. I'll see you guys next time. Cards, Cats, Bourbon, and Bluegrass. See ya.